Hey, my creative friends. I'm Shannon from Shannon Studio, and it is creativity time giving creative life tips. And I've been doing it for 130 something days in a row. And I talk about all kinds of things in creativity, things to help us, things to that might be interesting, anything to do with a creative life. And so tonight, well, first off, my daughter just called me a second ago, and Jessie our church does Light the World and does challenges every day, and I guess today was to thank your parents and tell them you love them, and she did. She's so sweet. She's taking care of our house back home. She's doing a lot of stuff. A lot of things have fallen in her lap, and she is just doing it, not complaining. And she's got her own family too and everything, so she's just really helped us out and will continue to help us out too. So shout out to good daughter. Also, this morning in Sweden, it snowed yesterday and it rained today. Hey, Trisha. It snowed yesterday, rained today, and so we were leaving to go to school, and we have about a 15-minute walk to the train. And they don't shovel walks here, which I thought was really interesting. Sometimes a machine will go and they shovel the sidewalks, like they scrape the road for the cars. Well, they will scrape the sidewalk, and sometimes it's really done well. Sometimes it's just like, tire tracks, these big giant tire tracks. It's just really interesting that you don't have to go out. Somebody told me that that you're not liable around your house if somebody slips and falls, and so people don't do it. But our neighbor, as he was going to work, he would just stop to see. He goes, "I'm so impressed that you guys walk to school to the train every day and walk to school every day." And I was like, it's what we do. I didn't tell them that Alan is the real one who rides his bike 7 miles both ways. 14 miles a day in this kind of weather, and that's crazy. And it's, this morning was cold and windy, and just, there's no way I ride a bike 7 miles twice a day. Anyways, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about Sweden tonight, and this isn't necessarily a tip. It's just I'm going to share one of the traditions of Sweden. It's really a different one. Several people have told me about it, and I was like, is this like really a thing? So what happens is on Christmas Eve afternoon, so 3:00 December 24th. Everybody stops. Well, half of Sweden stops. And they watch Donald Duck and Friends. We wish you a Merry Christmas from all of us to all of you. They watch little Disney clips of movies, Disney movies from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And then usually end on a clip of the newest movie that Disney's put out. And there's no commercials. All of Sweden shuts down, and you're not supposed to be on your phones. In fact, they recently did a survey, and phone usage went down 28% during this time frame that it's on. And no noise, you don't fix dinner, you don't call friends. Even if you don't watch it, you don't call friends. And it is the third popular up to the first popular show of the year. And I just thought it was so interesting. So they show little clips. They do this in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Norway, Iceland, I think maybe even Russia. And it's hosted, I think it's a live thing. I haven't watched it yet. But from what people have told me, it's a live thing, and somebody pretends like they're Walt Disney, and there's Jiminy Cricket who hosts, and some different things that they host this television time. And like I said, 40% up to 50% of the Swedes watch this. It's been going on for generations. So it started in 1959, so 60 years old. 60 years old this tradition is. And they have, it started back when there was only 1 or 2 channels. I think it was 1 when it started, but for decades they only had 1 or 2 channels. So everybody, and you couldn't see Disney cartoons or American cartoons in Sweden at all, except for this point in time of the year. So you can see why it's a big deal. It was a big deal and started. I don't know if it will continue as much, but every time they've wanted to like stop it, there's just like this big backlash that it's part of their traditions. And that's how, even though I'm going, that's just a weird tradition. I mean, I can see how it came about and stuff, but it's kind of funny to me. But you know, you can see how traditions start. And if you've been doing this with your family for 60 years, that's really ingrained in your family culture, in your national culture. It's part of who you are. I was reading, one guy said his father-in-law would laugh at the things he's heard for the however many years. It was just what you did, and you didn't talk, but you repeat lines, and it just sounded like a really fun tradition that they do. Totally different than I would have thought. They have other traditions too that are more what you might expect and what you've heard of, but I bet a lot of you hadn't heard of that. So I am going to say, so I just went through the movies that I thought were great movies. So I wanted to see what you thought were great movies, your top 3 movies, share with me. And I will tell you some of the ones that I remember. And the first few, it's almost like the same thing. I don't love these movies, but I've watched them since I was a little girl. And so it's just like tradition. So it's like, I never liked Charlie Brown that much. Charlie Brown Christmas. I just felt so bad for Charlie Brown all the time. But we watched that one. We watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and which other one? The Grinch, the animated Grinch. So the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So we used to watch those all the time when we were little. And I remember we sat down and we faces glued to the TV, probably just like the Swedes do when they do their little 3 o'clock on December 24th tradition. So those were some of the ones I watched as a girl. Then the ones that I really thought, I mean, It's a Wonderful Life. That's just a sweet, tender, reminding what's important. I like Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Carol. I'm not that big into that. I don't know, it kind of scares me. But Alan likes that one, and so we'll watch it periodically. And then the newer ones I like are the Christmas Shoes. That made me cry. Let's see, Elf. Love that one. Always makes me laugh. And the new one, there's a new one on Netflix this year called Klaus. I think they say Klaus, but I'd say Claus. It's Klaus, and that I cried at it at the end. So, you know, it's that time of the year. You have your little traditions that we watch movies because it just reminds us and helps us get in that Christmas spirit. And there's traditions all over the world with all kinds of things, and the Swedes do their December 24th at 3 p.m. And I think we are going to we don't have a TV here. And so we're going to find somebody, though, so we can say we're doing Christmas like the Swedes. So tell me what your favorite movies are. And that's it for our little Christmas week. And letting you know one of the Swedish traditions. So if you have a family tradition, too, that you do with movies like that, let me know. Anyways, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.